Hello, my incredible friend. Let me take you on a journey that starts with a young dreamer and ends with a global empire. A story not just about shoes, but about vision, risk, and relentless belief. This is not a fairy tale. It's the real story behind one of the most iconic brands in the world, Nike. What began in the mind of one man running on a track would go on to change how the world moves, thinks, and dreams. You're about to discover how a simple idea became a symbol of excellence, ambition, and power. Are you ready to step into the shoes of a legend? In the early 1960s, America was changing. There was energy in the air, revolution in music, fashion, politics, and business. But in the quiet town of Portland, Oregon, a young man named Phil Knight had something else on his mind: running shoes. He wasn't a businessman yet. He was just a middle-distance runner at the University of Oregon. His coach, Bill Bowerman, was obsessed with improving athletic performance, and especially obsessed with shoes. Together, they didn't just chase victories on the track. They chased a vision. Phil Knight believed that Japanese running shoes could rival the overpriced German brands like Adidas. He didn't have a factory, a team, or even a brand. What he had was an idea and a heart full of fire. In 1962, he traveled to Japan and pitched a bold plan to a company called Onitsuka Tiger. He would sell their shoes in the United States. They agreed. And just like that, from the trunk of his car, Phil Knight began his journey. He called his new company Blue Ribbon Sports. It didn't sound like a revolution, but it was the start of something unstoppable. Every weekend, he would drive to track meets, open his car, and sell running shoes to athletes. They weren't flashy. They weren't even comfortable at first. But they were lighter, cheaper, and made by people who believed in performance. One shoe at a time, Phil built his dream. But dreams aren't easy to hold on to. There were times he had no money left. Times he had no idea if the next shipment would arrive. Times when the banks laughed at him. They saw sneakers. He saw the future. And even when his deal with Onitsuka collapsed and he lost his only supplier, Phil Knight didn't quit. Instead, he took the biggest risk of his life. He decided to build his own brand. From scratch. What do you call a company that doesn't exist yet but is born from pure determination? You call it Nike. The name came from the Greek goddess of victory. The logo? A simple swoosh, designed by a student for just $35. But inside that swoosh lived a storm of ambition. Phil didn't just want to sell shoes. He wanted to inspire greatness. In 1972, Nike launched its first shoe line. It was risky, bold, and it had something no other brand had: Bowerman's famous waffle sole. One morning, Coach Bowerman poured rubber into his wife's waffle iron to create a new kind of sole. Lightweight, bouncy, and perfect for speed. It sounds crazy, but that waffle design became a revolution in sports footwear. As athletes began to win races wearing Nike shoes, something magical happened. Runners talked, coaches listened. And soon, Nike was more than a shoe. It was a signal, a symbol of performance, a brand born from the sweat and dreams of underdogs. Still, the real explosion came with one bold move: basketball. In the 1980s, Nike signed a rookie named Michael Jordan. At the time, it seemed like a gamble. He wasn't a global superstar yet, but Nike saw something in him, and he saw something in Nike. Together, they created the Air Jordan line. The first sneaker broke the league's uniform rules. Jordan wore it anyway. The NBA fined him $5,000 every game. Nike paid the fines. Why? because the world was watching. Kids didn't just want sneakers anymore. They wanted Air Jordans. They wanted the feeling of flying, the energy of greatness. And with every jump, every dunk, every win, Nike wasn't just selling shoes. They were selling dreams. Michael Jordan didn't just play basketball. He became a global icon. And Nike became unstoppable. Marketing became magic. Nike told stories, not just slogans. Just do it wasn't just a phrase. It was a call to action for runners, for dreamers, for anyone chasing something bigger than themselves. That line, launched in 1988, changed advertising forever. It was short, it was simple, but it burned into the soul of a generation. Nike wasn't just a sports company anymore. They were cultural architects. They worked with athletes across all sports: Tiger Woods in golf, Serena Williams in tennis, Kobe Bryant in basketball, Cristiano Ronaldo in soccer. Each one brought something powerful, not just talent, but attitude, determination, fire. The secret wasn't just the shoes, it was the story behind them. Nike's ads showed people overcoming obstacles, not just winning medals. They showed struggle, grit, and the journey. Every commercial, every poster, every sneaker drop, they all carried the same heartbeat. Victory is earned, not given. And while competitors followed trends, Nike created them. They didn't just react, they led. From high-performance sneakers to lifestyle fashion, Nike made sportswear cool. Athletes wore Nike, then musicians, then everyday people. In schools, on stages, in cities across the world, Nike was everywhere. But Phil Knight never forgot where it all began. In his book Shoe Dog, he talks about the fear, the failure, the chaos. He didn't always feel brave. Many nights he thought about quitting. But he didn't. Because in every setback there was a lesson. And in every lesson, a new chance to fight harder. By the 2000s, Nike was a giant. But they kept evolving. They embraced technology. They created Nike Plus, a fitness tracking app. They launched Flyknit, a seamless ultralight shoe made from thread. They invested in sustainability. They told bold, powerful stories. Stories that inspired people to run further, jump higher, speak louder. Even when controversies came, and they did, Nike didn't hide. They made bold moves. Some of their ads sparked debates. But that's what great brands do. They stand for something. Phil Knight once said, "The cowards never started, and the weak died along the way. That leaves us." Those words carried Nike forward. Today, Nike is worth over $150 billion. But the most powerful part of the story isn't in the numbers. It's in the spirit. A brand built by a runner with a wild idea. A coach with a waffle iron. An athlete with courage. And a team that never gave up. Because at the core of Nike, there's a message that speaks to all of us, no matter where we come from. That message is simple, but fierce. Believe in something. Push past limits. And never stop moving forward. That's why when people wear that swoosh, they don't just feel stylish, they feel unstoppable. It's not just a logo, it's a fire. A memory of how one man chased a dream and ended up inspiring millions. So next time you see someone lacing up their shoes, remember this. That simple act has a powerful history. A history born on a track, driven by passion, and written by risk-takers. Phil Knight didn't know how big Nike would become. He just knew it mattered. And in believing deeply, he built something eternal. Thank you for listening to this incredible journey. This was the story of how Nike rose from nothing and became a symbol of greatness. A story of bold choices, broken rules, and big dreams. And remember, every great story begins with a single step, just like every great run begins with tying your shoes. Let's keep learning English together, one powerful story at a time.